Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the 2021 Diya Event. I'm super excited and I got a lot of cool stuff to go over with you guys, but I wanted to start off with a few things. First off, check out this roster so you know exactly what's going down in this video. There's going to be a lot of prizes, a lot of cool stuff going on, so check that out. Give you a moment to take a look, and even skip ahead if you'd like. It's going to be a long video, so we're in this together. Now, I do want to let you know, this video will contain spoilers as we jump into our first segment today, which will be an in-depth look at books 1 through 3. We have 3 graphic novels finally available in their final editions. Book 1, Book 2, and Book 3 now. Book 1 being the longer of the 3. Actually, Book 1 is almost 30 pages longer, and it was extended because the first edition that was done back in April 2018, I wanted to enhance a few things and shine some light a little deeper than I did in the first edition, since I didn't really know what I was going to do with the project yet. But now we have a set path for a TV production, and I'm super excited along with my team. So if you're here checking this video out today, thanks so much for the support. We really do appreciate you guys. Like I said, there's a lot of cool prizes coming out, so stay tuned. So we're gonna take a quick look here at Book 1. See, it's got its official ISBN. It's got its factory sticker. If you didn't know, every Book of Diya is 18+. The first book has more suggestive material, and the second and third book stay away from suggestive material and are more focused, or not focused, but are at least the only thing you'll really see in the other books are like action and violence and blood and gore and death and things like that. Whereas the first book does have central material. So be on the lookout. And like I said, I wouldn't recommend this book to anyone that's under 18. Never have, never will. So, if we switch to this camera, you'll actually see the first book and its glory. The new paper style is this new kind of like newspapery, but the paper almost feels like skin. It's really nice. I'm only wearing the gloves because I don't want to smudge up the book, and I want to make sure that you guys get a good in-depth look at kind of what the inside and the art style will be. Now, it's cool to see the art style change every book, I will say, and a lot of people have voiced that to me. The art style will never officially change. It will just continue to be enhanced and new little cute things added and cool things, new effects, and just cool new things to show the fans. A lot of these scenes will look familiar, but for example, every single page in this book has been retouched 7 times. I wanted to make sure it was as perfect as it could be for the first book of the series. And you know, me not being a professional artist, it really took a lot of pushing and grinding, and we finally got to where we want to be. And it's really cool, like I said, to see the style kind of adapt and change and get better and better with every book. But for example, yeah, here in the scene where Daya and Lana end up washed away on the iceberg, I had a really cool effect in here. It's so cool to watch or look at, and it's just this shine effect, this beautiful, almost like the sun's coming down on them on a really hot morning after a storm. Looks really nice here. You know, sometimes cameras can't really do justice on how much these pages really look and feel and smell even. But yeah, to see all the effects come together, and you know, Daya versus Nissi, to see Daya versus Nissi here in this newest art style is just such a cool prelude to what we're gonna see when Daya's finally on TV, to see this fight redrawn, remastered, and VFX art. You know, if there's one thing I know about TV is I know a good fight, and seeing just this first intro fight on the big screen is going to be absolutely stunning. To see Daya and Lana and drama even overcome to beat this absolute powerhouse that is Lusk's daughter. She's an absolute monster with her blood power. And Daya was able to beat her and kill her. And he ended up lost in the ocean. But you know, sometimes when you purple Prometheus a dragon, it's gonna happen, you know? But gosh, yeah. Love how this book turned out, and it got the special travel pages. Brian Beeler did a fantastic job on these pages in the first book. And it's also cool to see how we both nail the final art and design that Daya will be on TV. You know, it will differ from this. I love how he's done this, but it will definitely differ a little bit until we kind of all refine the best way to make Daya Daya. But at the end of that first book, he's at 15% of his restoration. I suggest reading the story on the website. That way you have the best idea of, you know, kind of who Daya is. You know, to be honest, I'm probably just going to post it right now and give you a second to read that while I get situated here. It's really cool pages. Really nice stuff. Nefarious versus his brother Nato. Awesome first fight. Prelude fight to when Nefarious was only 13. See this absolute strength of drama, and Daya as he masters his fire ability on top of his ice ability. And using different ways to, like starting a forest fire so he has a fire source. And now he gets his fire directly from the sun with the help of Lusk's general. Lots of cool stuff happened. Book 1. We'll delve into Book 2, and Book 2 is a much more serious note on the Book of Diya series. You know, the first book, it had its funny moments and it had its serious moments. You know, Daya made it very clear that he's not going to let Lana, the little girl, die, no matter what that takes, even if it involves having to fight a dragon that's 30 times the size of him, with powers he has nothing, you know, no clue about. So, that being said, in the second book, he thinks that Nissi is alive. He gets a kind of a tip that Nissi's alive, but it actually ends up being this other being of the same power and nature of Nissi, and it confuses everybody. But the sad thing about this book is they use him, they use this new demon, and basically the enemies do, and they use his weak, you know, animalistic mind. They use it to their advantage, and they basically make him go kill for them to piss off Daya, to kind of weaken Daya so they fight. And it's honestly a win for the bad guys. You know, Nefarious hears about this demon and basically only sees positivity, like, you know, we got to join up with this demon, and once we join up with him, we'll be a stronger force. But something happens, and you know, for the people that have read this, we know that there's a massacre at the zoo in Canada, and it's led by this new demon, and Daya just can't see past that. As much as, you know, Daya respects this new demon and knows that it's not Nissi, but he knows that he was abused and he knows that he was used. So just that is just a whole different aspect. And you know, at the end of the book, you know, Daya has to smite him, and it was something very emotional and hard for me to do, because at the end of the day, Surfin really was like an animal, and not so much a demon, more an animal. Even though he was a demon, you know, he didn't really grow up with any type of influence other than bad and murder. The first thing he saw after meeting Daya and getting separated with Daya in the storm that happened in the first book, the first thing he saw was a mountain lion tear a rabbit to shreds. So he kind of got messed up at an early age, is the best way to describe him. And it's just sad, because Daya really didn't want to kill him. But at the end, you know, he had to, and we got to see Daya's epic, sad as it is, we got to see Daya's epic rain, or nighttime rain fight It starts off at night here, and then the rain picks up once the fight gets a little deeper. But yeah, it's just really sad because in Serafin's mind, he's really kind of just playing with Daya and is kind of confused on why Daya's trying so hard to murder him. So it makes for a really interesting story. The second book is definitely a tearjerker, way more than the first book. And it really gives you a light kind of on who Daya is and what he stands for. That's Daya's mission in the first book. The second book is making sure she's dead. She did what she did. Now the fact she might be alive really pisses him off. And he goes to hunt her down because of what she did for Lana, but then runs into this other demon that he just has to kill because he did a massacre at a zoo that resulted in kids dying. And that wasn't something Daya could see past. Daya even forgave him, or not forgave him, but he said that he will avenge you. I promise you that I will avenge you for what they did. But I cannot forgive you. And it's really shows that Daya really is a hero. Daya really does step against evil in this world surrounded by evil and all these demons coming from hell, coming after him to get back what Nefarious has stolen from his father. It's just Daya's starting to really realize now the threats that are in front of him. And something really important happens in this book. Daya starts to beat Serafin, and Sek, the octopus demon, is introduced, and he grows to a massive scale and just punches the shit out of Daya, knocking him into a hippo enclosure, nearly killing him just from his one punch. So this really makes something click for Daya that, hey, I'm not as strong as Nissi. Even though I beat her. Daya couldn't have beat Nissi, first off, in the first book without Lana and his sword's help. So the fact that, you know, he's starting to realize he's not as strong now is something that's very, very important for him as a character, you know, for character development purposes. So at the end of the first book, we know the Daya is underwater. He wakes up underwater in the second book. Now at the end of the second book, he's actually kidnapped. He's now 5 years later living with Lana in an apartment in New York City. They're basically trying to stay low, and you would know that if you read, but they're basically trying to lay low, kind of hide in plain sight. They needed Lana to be a 18-year-old working, so you know they could actually officially own an apartment together. But somehow or the other, some familiar cloaked members bust through Lana's apartment and kidnap Daya, which leads us into the third book. Take a quick peek at these cool pages Brian did. Such awesome work. And then this page is just to really signify, like, hey, Daya's pissed at Sek the octopus and he'll do everything he can to stop him now because of what he did to Serafin. So now we have a purpose. Daya has to, wants to, and must defeat Sek the octopus for basically manipulating Serafin. And that leads us into the third book and kind of the inner workings of it. Now the third book can honestly, it can't be read before the first one, but the events that happen in the first like 60 pages of this book are all prelude and kind of led up to how Nefarious got to be where he's at. So backstory chapters are really helpful in the Book of Diya as far as telling the story. So they will be used frequently. We also get introduced to the demon that is searching for Daya, or Nefarious' brother's head, Nato. Now if you remember in the very first issue of Daya, he blinks away his brother's head, Nefarious' brother's head, to Earth, since they're in hell. The eye works if you're in hell and you blink at someone in your vision, they'll go to Earth. If you're in Earth and you blink at someone, they'll go to hell. So Nato is also an immortal demon with 5 lives. We learned that in the 4th issue. So we know he's alive out there somewhere. Also from the fact that Razio, this bat demon, is searching for him and complaining about how long it's taking. Razio is one of my absolute favorites. So once we finally figure out Razio, Nefarious is looking for Razio because he's going to use Razio's energy to lead him to Natto, because Nefarious is very smart. So he's basically using Razio to pinpoint his brother's location because he knows that Lusk would send a demon to look for him. And Razio's loud and uses a lot of really loud like sound wave blasts. So Nefarious can feel him all the way in New York City, even though he's over the Atlantic Ocean. So he tries to tell Daya. Daya's having a nightmare about the surf and incident. So it just kind of shows you how much that really impacted him. And Nefarious goes back to a search. And sadly, Daya is really in a weak state to not really pay attention to a whole lot right now. So he almost willingly gets kidnapped, thinking it's a bachelor party invitation. Really kind of the only comedy in this book, but it's definitely very funny how he gets trapped so easily. Now Daya gets more and more serious with each book, so just understand that in this book it really had to do with the fact of, you know, how emotional he was about the Seraphim incident. You can really see that reflected in this page that Brian did here. But anyways, they get captured and they're stuck for 5 years while this Pocky, the leader of Nefarious's cult back in the day, finds a way to separate Nefarious from Daya to then put Nefarious in himself. There's a lot of faults and problems with his idea, like the fact that Nefarious would only have some of his strength as opposed to all of it with Daya. It would be a quicker jump for Nefarious to get more control, but at the end of the day, Nefarious wants the most power he can get and realize that Pocky is just an obstacle instead of a way out of Daya. And their bond, Daya and Nefarious's bond, has definitely grown. So Nefarious gets kidnapped and is forced to use his blue eye to escape. One of my favorite scenes of the third book. And he puts it in indefinitely at this point and crushes his black eye. So he literally has to have the blue eye in now. And we even learned that Nefarious can vert back from ghost ghoul form or marionetta ghoul form to demon form, which is something that Lusk can't even do at this point. Nefarious is like, well, maybe I'll thank you at the end of this, Pocky, right after I rip your heart out. And Pocky's second in command attacks, and it's futile. We even see Navo get punished for disobeying Lusk in the second book, because Lusk wanted Seraphim to be killed. So Lusk punches the shit out of his own child for disobeying. Lusk isn't really one to mess with. Nefarious goes to defeats Clyde, goes to get Daya back, and is recaptured by Pocky, who now furthers his plan to put Nefarious within. Nefarious is even damaged by this human. So it just really shows that even a human can be an obstacle. Well, I guess when Nefarious is only, you know, 1.5 feet tall at this point. But he cuts himself because he plans on putting Nefarious inside and even takes some PCP, which is a drug if you're unfamiliar. And it basically makes you a superhuman. And, you know, if it wasn't for Nefarious's blue eye here in this scene, he might have not made it through. He defeated Pocky's strongest weapon, the tablet that extracted Nefarious, and then instantly had to revert because it hurts him to use that eye so far away from Daya, since most of his strength is with Daya. But you can just really see here in this art that there's a lot of enhancers that have been added. You know, each one of these pages is at least 4 to 5 hours a day, and it's 1 page a day, so it's a lot of work for one person. It's not a whole comic book team, so that's another reason we got to keep some certain aspects in mind.
but we see Nefarious smite his entire cult and absorb the soul. So we finally figure out that the blue eye absorbs souls, and it's basically fuel for the eye. And at the end, he runs into Pocky and has to fight him in the Divine Betrayal chapter. And you know, Pocky's seeing Nefarious in this light because of the drugs he's on. He sees him as a god and deity up here, and he just suddenly realizes, it goes red, that, you know, Nefarious is not good. He's an enemy, and I'm gonna have to force him in me. So they fight, and Nefarious gets some awesome attacks and blows in, but at the end, Nefarious loses. He even yanks out part of his innards, and if it wasn't for Lana blowing his head off, then we wouldn't be here. So I really hope you had a chance to read all three of these before watching this video, because it's going to contain a lot of spoilers. But what I really wanted to get to in this one is at the end of the third book, we get to see Daya finally where Nefarious has been wanting to go for a long time, and that's a cabin in the woods, just kind of away from everyone. And this is after, you know, Lana saves everybody. But now that, you know, she's a grown adult now, because it's been so many years. We're on the 20th year of Daya's life at this point. And Daya, at this point in time, decides that he has to get stronger to beat Sek. And Nefarious gives him a little tip that we'll definitely see play into the next edition of the book. But he basically tells him, I may be able to help you with this. An excerpt from the book that helped me create Namiyaya, our elemental left arm. With master control, instead of using your first elemental attack, fortify oneself while remaining agile. And Daya thinks, and we see that he's buried Seraphim next to a red flower, since there was no remains from Nefarious. And that's how the third book ends, and we have some really cool special pages, and we're on the fourth book now. So, you know, the current storyline in the fourth book is Daya is still at the cabin. Now the fourth book is going to be a little bit different, and if you've seen this video, you're already going to know that. So we're not going to get into the fourth book as much now. There is going to be a segment on it here, as you already know, in our video. We'll probably just kind of break down the first issue of what we have so far. But the Book of Daya is a really versatile series, and you're going to see it change and adapt in such beautiful ways. Seeing it remade on TV with the filler segments, if you didn't know, the filler is going to be, every time you see 5 years later, 4 years later, 1 year later, that's all filler. And we'll get into that more later when we talk, but I just want you to know that every single moment aired of this series is going to reflect similarly to the book in almost the exact same way. So just being able to sit back and reimagine these scenes is really all you got to do. You reimagine the scene as a TV show, and you're set. You get early access with the books before they even come out on TV. But yeah, if y'all ever have any questions about the story, you know, I can answer the ones I can. Obviously, I can't, you know, give away the story. But if y'all ever email risingdaya@gmail.com, you just have a fan question or certain thing you didn't quite understand in the book. You know, everyone reads at a different level. You know, there's people that are going to read this book and catch every little hidden thing I did. And there's some people that won't catch any of the hidden things I did. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with Daya, even in these three books that people might not even realize yet. And you'll see that change as this table fills from 3 books to 30 books in the series. But let's go ahead and jump into our next segment. Awesome stuff. Welcome to the after party. We are here at the next section, which is the site tour. So if I slap into the URL box, bookofdiya.com, we're going to land ourselves right on the website. And bingo bango, we got it all. We got the Book of Diya's logo. Here's a fun tip for you. Anytime you're lost, click on the Book of Diya logo and you'll be right back to the home screen. Fantastic. If you notice, you got all the books here. Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, and Book 4. All for free to read online, by the way. We're actually going to start by scrolling down just a tad on the homepage because there's a lot of cool stuff to check out here. This will always be where the most up-to-date issue is. So for those of you who are reading, who are reading, on time and everything, you click this issue right here. That'll land you on the page with the issues to read. And you have also Harbor Book One here, and this is my other sci-fi series. I won't dwell too much on Harbor until we get to the page, but this is a hyperlink to Harbor's page. It'll also have the, right here, the most up-to-date issue information. Book 4, issue 1 is now available. If you didn't know, it's now available. Books 1 through 3 hard copies are available on the bookstore and Become a Member page, which we'll also delve into later. Right here, we'll link you on the Apparel page if you are trying to snag one of these sexy beanies, which is a great time for me to segue away into the first prize. The first person to email risingdaya@gmail.com that they want this beanie will get it. So, prize 1. Hope you were watching. Okay, each one of these will land you on the member page. These are all the different memberships. Obviously, you cannot read the fine print there, but these are just the kind of portfolio pages. You click here, and that'll kind of expand it and let you see more. You have Daya here, a scene from book 2. This right here will land you on our YouTube page. This is our membership trailer, which will probably actually be replaced by the Diya Event. And if this is ever too small for you, slap that full screen button. And you have the member points update. If you didn't know, for every $5 spent, you get a point, and a point is worth $1. So if you spend, $50, you get 10 points. And then you can, at that point, use the 10 points to purchase things online. So this will always be here if you ever forget how that works. This right here will tell you when the newest issue will come out. This countdown is, of course, zeroed out because we are, now the issue is out, and the next issue production starts very soon. So this will all be here. This right here is a link to our trading card page. And here is the story. So I said I'd put the story in the previous video or the previous segment, but instead I'm just going to read it from here like I did on the last trailer. The demon Nefarious has found a way to amplify his power in order to surpass his father, the King of Hell, if he can use a cult's help to put his essence in a stone tablet. He can have that tablet inputted in a live human to then become himself with new powers in the overworld. However, the tablet did not make it to its full growth, so Nefarious had to have the tablet inputted in a skeleton instead, where he would remain for 200 years, slowly regrowing his demon flesh over the bones. But the skeleton's pre-death willpower revived him prematurely, giving him a mind of his own. Can Nefarious keep him alive long enough to gain control? That's what we gotta find out. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and jump into the first page here, and that's the Become a Member page. So you're going to see some fancy waves here. And this is a membership trailer. Now this video will stay here because this trailer is a breakdown of the gifts that you receive with becoming a member. It's think of it like a Kickstarter, basically. There are different tiers of a Kickstarter. So it looks like the holiday sale is still going on. Meaning that I forgot to take it off. But so yeah, we still have 25% off of this until I take it off, but I'll probably keep it on, just because, I guess it is a holiday weekend. But you have your digital collector member. You have your red membership, which is going to start landing you the really cool perks of, membership cards that are basically indestructible, bookmarks that will definitely last you like forever. And even if they faded a little bit, they would last forever. This gets you the first book of the series. You get the digital PDF edition of the series. You get your name in the next book. You also get a signed thank you certificate. Yeah, so that's how you get the graphic novel. It's only $37.50 right now, so big sale. And the blue membership, it's going to land you all the same perks, except you also get the copy of my next book, Harbor, or my other series, Harbor. And you get the Nefarious keychain. That's what changed on that. And if you want to in-depth look at that, check out the membership trailer up here. And then finally, the black membership. It's literally the exact same thing as the blue membership. except you get the Lusk keychain. That's the only thing that differs. But the main things about these keychains is the Black membership gets you the books at wholesale pricing, meaning you pay what I pay to get the books. Also, if you didn't know, and it explains this more above, so definitely watch that video. The more members we have, the less the books will cost in the future. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to skip book 4 for now because we're going to look into that more during that segment, but we'll just jump into the read book 1 page just to give you guys an idea of exactly how to read the series. Most people that are reading it monthly every month know exactly how to do this, so feel free to skip ahead, if you know. But you basically scroll down. The earliest issue will always be at the bottom. That'll never change. And you'll see here it's 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. So it's always gonna, since we're on read book 1, it's always gonna start with 1 and then it goes up numerically. So this is the first issue, obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Also, the first book is the only book with 8 issues. Every other book will have 7, as we've seen in the second and third, which are going to function the same way. Like I said, this book has sexual content in it as opposed to the other 2 books. So if you're ever wondering, what the books have in them, it's always right here, right in front of you, because like I said, my goal is not for kids to read my book. This is a book geared for adults, whether male, female, or whoever. Okay, now we're on read book 2, and yeah, like I said, in this one you'll see this one just has strong language, death, and blood and gore, and functions in the exact same way, where we have 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, and as it goes up. And that is the second book's issue cover list. Same thing with the third book. This one has no sexual content, strong language, death, blood and gore. And you scroll down, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, 3-5, 3-6, and 3-7. So get caught up if you haven't, it's free. And then get your hard copies. Or vice versa, get your hard copies first, have it, and then get the digital editions that differ from these, because these only allow me to put 80% quality on the website. So you don't get to see how HD Daya really is. I might be able to actually show you guys how it differs. All my freaking files, there's so many. There's a really cool one in book 2 that I can show you that I was looking at, of their Daya and Seraphine's first fight. This is a good one. Little grotesque, but bear with us. Yeah, so this is how HD it really is, and hopefully my recording app software is catching this. But this is much more HD than what the website allows me to do, just because of how big those files are. But if we hit more, so never forget this more button right here is going to link you to all the other pages we have, because we have a bunch. The bookstore page is super important, especially if you're already a member. So it stinks it has to be in the more side, but we have so many books now that it's just kind of pushing it out of the way. But this is the bookstore, and this is where you'll see in the little dojo bookstore that you can buy the book for wholesale pricing or whatever your membership allows. And you have book 2 and 3 there. Now, the book, you basically have to become a member to get a hard copy, but you have to spend $50 to get a tons of perks, is basically how it works. The perks are it's what makes, in my opinion, a Kickstarter package more enticing. There's Kickstarter packages out there that don't even have artwork drawn, or they maybe just have one cover art drawn, and those are getting backed big time. So having a membership where for $50 I can get you all the perks that you want, and they all these holiday sales when they're cheaper. And like I said, the more members we get, the cheaper it goes as well. It's just the cost of printing a book, if you haven't really delved into that market, it's very, very expensive, to say the least. Awesome. So we're going to move on into the harbor page. The Harbor Page mobile edition might confuse you. It's funny. It's like you, and I did on purpose, you have to kind of like lift your finger up to make it drip. And then you see this drip drop come in and it tells you you're buy now. And for $6, you get the Book of Harbor. That includes shipping. $12, $6 will go to COVID impacted families. I wrote this during COVID, so that's kind of why. And the Book of Harbor is a very interesting series that has nothing to do with the Book of Daya. I would definitely check it out. The it's super, super interesting. And the outtake that I take with sci-fi, because sci-fi is something, you know, I've always wanted to do, but I've been a little nervous about, and I wanted to make sure I didn't just do the same thing that everyone else does. So you're definitely going to see Harbor is much more like sci-fi anime-esque. Very, very cool. And, you know, I love it. And everyone who's read it has told me they've loved it. So great stuff. To the years 16 through 20 page. And this is the current growth of Daya. As we saw on the home screen, Daya grows more and loses more control within every year that he is with Nefarious. Nefarious is slowly taking over the body. So this page will always have the updated years on it, like where Daya's at currently and his current growth. And it'll also have images showing his growth, like how much he's grown, and explanations like that are in order on that basically just explain like what Daya did when he was regrowing the limb. So definitely a cool page to check out if you're interested more into the mechanical side of like how Daya is growing. So if we go down to the Book of Daya trading card game. Now this is also going to get a whole segment, so we are going to actually skip this page for now. We'll go to the Apparel page where you can buy the beanie for $8 right here. The Ash Series 1 Ashy Daya beanie. It's the only one we have right now, but like it's kind of like the more sales we get, the more beanies we'll have. Pretty much, the more different designs and cool stuff like that. Character page, pretty self-explanatory. You got all the characters on here and a universal white name, white goal, blue origin, purple weapon, red power, and that stays the same for each character. That way you know whose is whose if any of them kind of look close together. It'll also tell you who's dead. So we have an in-depth look at all of the characters here. And if we slide over to the trading card game page, just a quick peek to show you these holographic cards are really cool. Gosh, yeah, these are the first 9 characters that were announced. The cards turned out really cool, I think. Okay. This is one of the oldest pages here. Now, Daya has always been free to read online, but I made this page and it's basically just my pledge to say that I'll make sure that Daya is the world's next favorite TV show no matter what, and I'll push myself every day to prove that. Never resting, never slacking, blood, sweat, and tears, just to prove that I somehow was able to create the world's next favorite series. Now, am I saying that there's not other good series? No, there's great series. I love series. I'm a huge fan of a lot of series. I just am saying that from a writer's perspective, from a viewer's perspective, this will be the world's next favorite TV show. At least it's airing. So if we slide to Brian Beeler's gallery, the gallery by Brian Beeler, we have all these special art pages that Brian has beautifully drawn. He's a fantastic artist, and he's a pleasure to have on the Daya team, really. It's an awesome dude. Just to take a moment to appreciate his work here. A little blurry right now. Got a lot of internet stuff. I love this one. Seen some of these during the introductions of the books in the last segment we did. And of course, you can always come here and appreciate these. Now, I even made these savable. So if you ever want one of these as a background, here's a bunch of free backgrounds for you. I you can see behind me, I'm probably not right now, that I used all of these for my backgrounds. And one for my profile picture on Facebook. Go figure. God, this one's so beautiful from the third book. Gosh, this one just is like, gives me goosebumps. Gosh, now we're into the fourth book. That's absolutely wild. I think that's the last page too. Oh, my progress. This is not updated. Oh my God, Circle. This is also one of the oldest pages, and this is kind of what my notebooks looked like back in the day. It's funny, I drew this freaking perfectly. Like that pen right there is perfect. Like how it looks exactly how my purple pen. I've had the same purple pen like shell. This is so nerdy. I've had the same purple pen shell since I've started. Now the other pens have sadly changed, but the purple pen shell is the same one I've had. And I just ordered like hundreds of dollars worth of ink. But let's slide back to the homepage. So we're gonna go ahead and segue into our next segment. So thanks for tuning in, or staying tuned. Oh, hello, welcome back. So I'm gonna take a very brief detour and just kind of show you guys the process of boxing a red membership for a customer. So the first things first, their thank you placard. I don't like to sign the inside of my books because I think it devalues them. I know that sounds backwards, but I have some signed books and they've gotten aged, and unless you really are keen on keeping stuff in mint condition, it's a tough thing. So this is something much easier to be framed, and you know, you can get a front-facing frame, and then I sign on the back, and I do my signature. Give the camera a quick peek. Boom. Thank you placard. Now this is nice cardstock. Keep this safe, lasts forever. Now that also includes the first book of the series, like I mentioned before. And your red membership bookmark, dual side, really nice quality. You can see that they're very, very strong. And then of course your red membership card. It fell. I gotta burn it and get a new one. Red membership, bango, a business card. Slap that in the box. You need the website. Gosh, I'm a goof. Usually I have one cloth glove because I don't like smudgies, and one plastic glove for a little bit of grip. Especially in this time of COVID, I'm sure that you can appreciate my level of protection here. Also, you know, the safest way to get a Book of Diya is always going to be, once you get the mail in, you know, just like any other mail, you would want to let it sit for a week. I don't feel sick at all, but just a pro tip I can offer. Bookmark inside. Membership card inside. Business card inside. Website info now inside. Side by side. Take a quick look at that bundle. Get you all future books for $45. Price subject to lower as more members gain. And hey, this counts as a member. Banga. Now, the fun part. I like to saran wrap these, the outer layer, because a lot of people like even their plastics kept safe. If you're a real someone that's into like minting, like I just was talking about, I'm sure you can appreciate this. That way you have your custom Daya bundle protected from any potential mailing mishaps.
and it'll stop, you know, your surface scratching on the plastic sleeve. A little careful because the member cards, but it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going straight to ripping it off. So, boom, together with the thank you placard. And why I finished this up, I appreciate those of you who decided to watch this part of the video, because you can skip this if you just want to see certain things. For those of you who are still tuned in, this membership is actually up for grabs right now. You get the first book of the series in its final edition. All you got to do is message Rising Daya, just like the last prize. Email risingdaya@gmail.com and say, I want the red membership. And also for the last video, you say, I want the beanie. No repeat winners will be drawn, but definitely get your emails in and try it for everyone. It might not be the first one for a couple of them, but it will be the first possibly on one of them. So I give all my fans a cute little Daya drawing. I made sure to get these mailers white so I could get some custom artwork on there for the fans. Just a little skull, and then of course you'll have your ship information on the front hand side. This is prize number 2. Let's segue into the next segment. Segment into the segment. Oh, well, welcome back to the party. It's your host with the most, Serge. And just to let you know, my shirt is on backwards. And if you ask why, it's because I'm a hot mess. But, you know, to each his own. But hey, thanks so much for sticking it out. You know, we've given away a couple prizes now, so that's always it's very exhilarating. But now, what I wanted to talk about, since we talked about memberships, we talked about reading, we've seen the books, I want to jump into the 4th book because it's really, really unique. Quickest way there, homepage, click on the issue spot and the issue of the month. It's now the 15th of the month every month, if you did not know. And we didn't look at this page earlier, so we see the background is changed and we have the Book of Diya graffitied on the wall, similar to the cover that is this issue. Now, this is one of my favorite issues that I've had the chance to work on. And rather than take a peek at it here at the 80% version that everyone has access to, I'm going to show you guys the 100% highest resolution possible editions. So, gosh, it might even be cool to do a reading because it's a, what am I doing reading? Okay, Chapter 1, Red Baron and Violet Raider, Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, 1996. Now, a quick prelude. This is 1996. Now, if you followed the storyline of Daya, you know that Daya is, you know, several years into the future. Oh no. I don't know if y'all remember that catastrophic jump I did to my table earlier, but I think I like severely like damaged it permanently. I can't put too much weight on it. I'm a big guy. But so you would know if you've been reading Daya that this time frame is way before Daya, is all I'm going to say. Or way before like current Daya. So we see 2 new characters we haven't seen. Running. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. They're running, it looks like they got some cool gear. Looks pretty dope. Oh, they run past a chick in the downtown streets of Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. Hunter. Yeah? You sure the info is good? Yeah. Danny surveyed this area
There have been multiple reports of muggings all along this street. Just don't want to get caught up if we don't. And we see this waltz is out in front of everybody. And an old woman is getting robbed in the background. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to leave it at here. I really want you all to enjoy this issue for yourself. You know, I'm not going to do a full reading because that might be something I delve into later along the lines. You know, Daya's mission is to get on TV, and we're going to push until we have that. Now, stay tuned because we have some really cool other stuff to show you. But I just wanted to give you a peek of the fourth book and just kind of show you, like, this is 6 different effects in one that I've made to make it look like a newspaper, really old style. And I really appreciate how it turned out. And it took a lot of time in refining, but I'm like I said, I love how it looks. But we're gonna go ahead and segue into the next segment. I don't want to reveal too much about the fourth book. I want the fans to be able to read it and enjoy it. But I did want to give you that peek and show you kind of how it looks like in this maximum resolution here. Welcome to the after party. We got something really exciting to go through next, and this is actually one of the most exciting things that I think is going on in the Daya world now, and that is our new trading card game. I mean, my gosh, these boxes, they just bring a tear to my eye. I love them. They turned out so nice. Real, oh, what I tell you about this table, y'all. I don't think it could take my big body. I won that battle. But you can see here, you got the 9 first characters from the first season revealed. Or not revealed, but the first 9 characters that are shown in the series are right here. And that represents the first 9 characters revealed in the series altogether. So there will be multiple seasons of this based off every book. Of course, the card game is going to stay pretty behind since we're on season 1 of the card game, which reflects the first book, and events in the book are similar to what happens like with certain cards. So it's cool how it follows behind, and it's not like, you know, you don't have the third book comes out, you don't have the 3rd season of the card game. But the back here says, become a Book of Diya TCG Pro by building an unstoppable deck. With 1 character and 60 cards, you will be ready to dish out serious damage. www.bookofdiya.com contains all the rules and is the hub to buy more booster packs or character boxes. See that there. And over here it says character box includes 1 of 9 character cards, and that's which you pick that out at checkout, and 4 Book of Diya trading card game booster packs. So before I unbox this, I have special news about it. This is actually the 3rd prize. The only caveat there is this is going to be an unboxing video, so the cards won't be packaged, but you can still get 41 cards to your deck, so, or your collection, and then start building decks. So I'm really excited to go ahead and delve into this. As you can see, the closing sticker, it's set up in a way that all you got to do is slowly peel the sticker off, and everything will just kind of naturally come out. So, well, naturally if you don't have gloves on. There you go. Really awesome. So lots of room in here if you're a card collector. You're going to be able to keep a lot of cards in here. So, see that? Lots of card room. Bingo bango. We have no wallet. Your character card comes in a sleeve to keep it safe, of course, since it's not in a booster pack and protected. So you have your character card now. And your 4 booster packs, which you can safely drop out now. So here's the booster packs, and we're gonna go ahead and start opening them. That's just a zig symbol right here. Because I'm a huge Pokemon trading card game fan. So, you know, this series definitely pays homage to that in a lot of different ways. But let's go ahead and crack it open. Booster Pack 1. Now there is no special way to open it like the Pokemon booster packs where you sift through the cards and put them in the right fashion for, you know, if you get a rare card. But still super exciting nonetheless. So I have my cards and we'll jump right into them. So the first is a Daya attack card. Daya Nawala attack card. We got a Fire Energy card for Daya. We have a Soul Energy card for Lusk. The Running Girls card for Lusk. And of course we're going to go through an in-depth video where we show off everything. And the next card we have here is the Ritual card. That is a utility card that can be used in the game. And like I said, of course, we're going to go in an in-depth video that shows off all the cards on the first season on the website, all 62 of them. We have the Nefarious' Tablet card. It's another utility card. We have a third utility card, Void Seeker. No character cards yet other than Nawala. Oh, as I spoke too soon, Daya. Got a Daya character card. Sweet. Decks can start being built. Oh, look who we pulled. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. We got the super rare, or special super rare card, and that is the Daya holographic card. Now there's 3 other holographic cards you can get in the series, and this is one of them. So that's super cool that whatever fan wins this prize will get that card. Now, just a reminder, email risingdaya@gmail.com and say, I want the trading card game box in the subject line. And then we'll exchange information, make sure you get your box. And then we got a duplicate Nefarious tablet card. So super cool. We got 3 character cards, and I'm even going to separate these for the fan by class. So the support cards I'll keep together, the attack cards I'll keep together, the utility cards I'll keep together, and then the characters I'll keep together. Now I'm going to go ahead and, I'm sure you're a fan of Nawala the Dragon, like any good dragon fan would be. But I'm going to keep Daya in the sleeve for you because I know how important cards like these are to big fans. You have fat fingers like mine. I wonder how long this may take. Sweet. We have a holo. I wonder if we have another holo. Let's find out. Crack open the booster packs. Now, I had an option to get foil for these, but I wanted to get the custom Daya sticker on the front. And I wanted to do tissue paper just because I thought of it like if I saw it at a store, because you know, as the fame builds, I could definitely supply these in stores. But I love the feeling of tissue paper. It keeps the cards equally protected. As you can see, these cards have absolutely no damages whatsoever. And it's just, I think it's just fun, honestly. I'm a fun guy, so we can jump right into it. Got a Gunpowder Lana support card. Okay, this is a really good pull because this fan is getting a lot of cards, you know, out of the 62 cards in their collection that are different, not a lot of duplicates so far. Ooze Energy for Nato, support card. Blood Energy, Nissi. A Ice Storm utility card. And a Nato's attack card, Rampage. Another Ooze Energy. A 5 Energy, it's Nato's card. Whiskey Shot utility card. Oh, another character card, Nefarious. So
So they have 3 separate characters they can start building a deck off of. And the Iron Demon utility card. Now, when I go through the site and show off all the different cards, I encourage you to go to the site on your own and kind of read them. We're not going to break into every single card type and what they do. I know that the trading card game fans that we have thus far are going to be super excited to see this video and the unboxing process. So, and now we have the character boxes, so that's a plus. Now those are only $16, so definitely a really nice deal there for the amount of cards you get. You leave the day with 41 cards. So you have Lusk's support card, the Hell Staff, Lusk's attack card, Soul Stitch, Lana's attack card, Beat Up, another Soul Energy, which we've seen before, and another Fire Energy, we've seen that one. New Eye of Souls card, utility card, very smart card. I use that in my deck. It's a little spoiler for you for a pro deck. The support card Gun for Lana, Radiation support card for Solas, Ice Attack card for Daya, and the pairing Souls card for the Eye of Souls card, utility card. So that means that whoever wins this is really able to kind of start an interesting deck off the cards that they've already got. The cards go off of a randomizer. So I'm happy I can keep the booster packs to $2.50. Kind of make them a little bit more affordable for the fans since the books are so expensive. I understand that life is very expensive. The books are expensive, and I wish that they didn't have to be so much. But like I said, the more members we have, since it's a 30-book series, we gain more members every year. So that will allow me to make membership prices cheaper, which is also super cool. Okay, third Soul Energy card. So got some duplicates, but got a lot more characters. We got Nato now. There's a holographic version of this card and of the Nefarious card. And there's also one for Lusk. And you can kind of peek those online, but here's another. These cards are super cool, the holographic cards, because they shine in different lights depending on the angle you're looking at them, or like different shades of the holo, and it's just super really nice. It goes so well with the design on there. I hope the camera's picking it up well, but nothing does these justice like seeing them in person. Really. Turned out awesome. First Aid Kit, utility card. Daya attack card, fire attack. Love how that one turned out. Utility card, fire training. Support card, stored flames. I run Nefarious in my deck. There's another tip. Not tip, but just something about me. And the Navo attack card, Claw of Death. Kind of a double-edged sword. And Navo attack card. Gosh, we got 5 characters out of 9 in this box. That's pretty cool, because in a character box, the reason they exist is just to guarantee you get a character, since the decks are random. And then of course it's just cool to have a deck box where you can store your cards in, and wanted to make something really cool for the fans. So we have a Navo attack card, Primal Launch, one of my favorite cards, and another Void Seeker card. So, super fun doing this, and I'm really glad I got to do this giveaway, especially since the card game just came out this year. It's my my 2021 gift. I wanted to do something really cool and collectible and fun, and what's cool about this is it's a fully playable game as well. So enough on cards. This table, I have to repair it between scenes here, but I'm going to go ahead and secure this Daya card a little bit better and put it in the character box. And this is that third prize. So like I said, please don't forget to email me. Hey, welcome to the next segment. We are going to kind of showcase my portfolio, and there's a lot of reasons why I'm doing this. I want to show the world what I've accomplished because, one, it kind of feels good to toot your own horn sometimes, as anyone knows, you know. I don't have a lot of talents, but I definitely have talent in writing. Sometimes I don't even feel responsible for what I've created. But that being said, I want to jump right into this, not talk too much about me and just kind of what I've created. I'm an entertainer and I love it. I love to entertain people. I do it for the people. I don't do it for me. And honestly, you know, I haven't made thousands of dollars off my stuff, so or really a lot of money at all. So the reason I'm telling you that is because I want you guys to understand that even if I have to go negative to get out beautiful content, I will. But let's jump right into it. The first book, Kyle Moore and the Lightkeeper. Some of you probably even know about this. This was published, gosh, hold on. Let's see, 2014. This was my first book. I was a babe. I was 2014 is not when I published this. That is when this copy was printed. I published this when I was 13, so whatever year that was, 2008 or 9 maybe. But this is a super interesting series. I don't want to say too much about this because I might have planned for it in the future. But it's a really good read if you want to kind of figure out like some cool things about me and my writing style and just how I write a fantasy novel. It's super interesting. So you know, anyone that's ever read this book has only told me it's interesting. It's not what I take pride in the most. You know, when I was thinking about Daya, I either thought I was going to redo this or do Daya, and I actually decided to go with Daya. But this is a super interesting series, so check it out. Next is my first edition of Daya ever. Now this is officially published. This is the edition that everyone got back in the day. And it's cool to see this now. This is nothing compared to what my current book is now, and I've been able to revamp everything. But it's just cool to see because this is when I first remastered my old art and made something that started to look a little bit better. This is when progress started because I was not a pro artist. I still am not. I take pride in what I do now because I'm forcing myself to become the best author I can and giving myself weird hand massages just to keep my hand from breaking on me so I can keep doing it. But super interesting to see this become what it's became today. Now this is the second issue and I covered this actually in a powdered snow paint. This is the only edition that was not given out for free, and I'm getting powder snow all over me. I thought it was on the inside, but it's not. Now, my friends, this powder snow is no joke. So I'm gonna put that down there for now, so powder up everything. It's always good to breathe in too. This was my first hard copy, or I guess like physically hard copy. And it's got the first 4 issues in it. And I've given a couple away of these in the past. And then we have our edition, our first Daya Book 1 graphic novel. Now this book here has been published like 4 different times. I just put the newest edition here, the final edition, just because I don't want to have a bunch of the same books on my desk when I'm showing off my portfolio. This is the newest final edition, and this is the last time the first or second or third book will ever be touched, but specifically the first book, since I revisited it so many times, because I wanted to make sure it was the best book for the fans that I could, like I mentioned several times. And that's why it's longer, it's been revisited 6 times, and it is what it is today because of the push that I put through in that one. Now the second book is when I started really starting to nail things, so they didn't have to, or actually no, the second book and third book were all written.
the first, second, and third book were all written, and I remastered all of them. So when I say written, they were all drawn, but not in any type of art that I would present or consider presenting. So, but it was enough for me to tell the story, and even people that read it understood what was going on, but I wanted to make it look even better. So that's kind of what I'm saying when I push myself. I push myself to make it better than my scratches, make it as good as I possibly can. Then after the second book, I took a detour into Harbor Book 1, and that is my sci-fi series about the kind of anti-hero Zion that really experiences something so surreal that he has to manage. And this one's a little bit calmer than Daya. It's 14 plus, where Daya's 18 plus. But don't mistake it for a kid's book. It's very intense, and honestly, it's barely scratching the 14 plus mark. But I made sure to keep certain elements out of it for a larger fan group to be able to enjoy it. One of my favorites, it's really exciting too, is I did this children's book called The Awesome Possum, and it's a children's book. This is put the rating on here somewhere, 3 plus. And I wanted to write a book that my daughter would be able to read, just because I write books and she always is curious, but obviously she can't check these out because they're for adults, and I would never let her read them until she's an adult, whether she liked that or not. So at the end we have the third book, and that's our most recent edition of Daya, and the fourth book is currently in production and will be a hard copy just like this. So we are now able to segue into the next segment. Oh, friends and family, our time is coming to an end. We're towards the end of the Diya Event 2021, and I have some really, really cool stuff to talk about as we close. So first and foremost, check out this clip. I want you all to see my mission to entertain. Not that any of this has been formal, but the end of this is definitely going to be a little bit more formal, informal, because I really want to connect with my fans here and make sure you guys understand kind of what we're working on. The Book of Diya is so much bigger than anything I can put into words, first and foremost. And my team that's personal to me, and you'll see shortly, they will be able to contest that, they see a passion in me that they haven't seen. And I don't say that to brag, honestly. And it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time. And some of the things I have to do, I wish I didn't have to do. It takes a lot of time away from family, and it hurts sometimes. It really does, from friends and family. But at the end of the day, I do have a mission, and I have a goal, and I even have a message. But my story will have to exist and become big and go big and be on TV for people to really understand my mission and my goal. Now, before we get more into that, I do have a Black membership I'm about to box up here. Now, you all know it's a common theme, obviously, that this is up for grabs. So you just rush to my inbox in risingdaya@gmail.com and say, I want the Black membership. And as I box this up and wrap it up, You know, this differs because it's in tissue paper, black tissue paper, instead of the saran wrap at the end. But I'm gonna finish this video up by boxing this up and actually talking about a couple cool things. So first, I'm a big guy, so let me catch my breath. Cool. Got our signal. Woo! I promise it's not hurt. Beautiful. Beautiful. Go ahead and put that in here. So, the most important thing I can say at this point is my current mission. And that's to get Daya made into a TV show. And we actually have a really cool plan as far as pitching that, by getting the entire first season written out, the entire first episode written out, potential theme music, potential actors, potential theme songs, and ways that we're going to have maybe certain songs twisted around for more to fit what we're looking for, or maybe having a brand new song created. But we're going to use all that information to pitch the idea to production companies with a literary agent that will be hired shortly. And essentially, that's how we're going to get in front of who we need to. Because once this show is redrawn, reimagined on TV, same events, but just redrawn in a TV VFX format, then we'll have what we're finally looking for with the Book of Diya, and so will the fans. TV is something that unites all genders, all races, all sexual orientations. It's something where there's always positivity and no negativity. And that's what I love about the entertainment industry, really. It's something that everyone can join into, whether they agree with people's opinions or not. And it's something really special to me. I've been writing comics since I was a little kid, and I wish I had some of those to show you. A couple of them actually got stolen back in the day from other kids, but lots of cool stuff. That's all I can say. So, this Black membership is going to come with the second book of the series. Now, you can get any book of the series with your membership. There are people out there that don't have the final edition of the first book, or that do have the final edition of the first book, that are not members yet. So what that means is if you have the first edition of the book but you're not a member and you want all the member perks, then you can become any type of member. You just you email me at risingdaya@gmail.com and say, I want the second book with the membership I just purchased. And it's just like that. I'll customize it to make sure you get the second book instead of the first. But we actually have a meeting with the Daya team tomorrow, and it'll have every member of the team, and we're actually going to discuss the filler episodes in the series. I'm super excited about that. Cool. Got our signature. We got Harbor. Harbor is going to sit in the back like that. This is going to temporarily fold over until we can get it wrapped up. Beautiful wrapping job. We'll see. We'll see how beautiful. Just want to confirm we got our keychain. Yeah, we got our keychain. We got everything in this custom Black member bundle. Super excited to box this up and be able to give it away. Tuck and roll. How we do it. And on the Black member bundles, I draw my favorite character, and that's Les. Awesome. So Black member is up for grabs. If you haven't emailed me already, email me. Get your custom bundle. Awesome. Well, guys, in conclusion, I want to say thanks so much for tuning in today. And I'll show you the only thing in my office I haven't shown in my background, and it's my portfolio cabinet that I've decored to look like a Lusk's tomb that he's currently in. See my cat Gucci up there. But guys, you've been great. It's truly been a pleasure doing this video. You know, busting my ass on the floor. You know, it was great. And as you saw, my mission to entertain, that'll never stop. And every moment of the day, I will push.
Push.
Until I achieve everything that I've talked about. And I do that for not only myself and my family, but for all my fans and all my future fans. Thanks, you guys.